Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And welcome into Pressbox Live. I'm Stan the Fan Charles of Pressbox and PressBoxOnline.com. With me is Ross Grimsley, and we'll introduce our guest in just a second. This is our Monday Night Baseball chat, and it's brought to you by C3 American Exteriors. Go to their website at c3america.com to get a brand new roof for just the cost of your insurance deductible. Welcome in on this Monday evening on Facebook Live. And with us, Ross is our very special guest. And it's a segment of baseball that I always love to talk about.
Right.
It's minor league baseball. And we've got the general manager of the Aberdeen IronBirds, Jack Graham, with us. Jack, welcome aboard.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to get to hang out with the Pressbox guys.
All right. Well, that's what you're going to do for the next half hour or so.
Yes, sir.
And by the time we finish, you won't think it's such a great deal to hang with the Pressbox guys. But all kidding aside, your predecessor was a good buddy of mine, Matt Slatus, and he left the Aberdeen IronBirds after working, I think, 3 seasons there. Does that sound about right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. 3 seasons. That's right.
He took over the spring training home of the Houston Astros and Washington Nationals, and he's down there working his tail off. Matt put in a lot of hard work to build back the Aberdeen IronBirds to what they used to be 15, 18 years ago. And a lot of that work was pretty successful. Has all that work now been flushed down a toilet somewhere? What is this like, getting ready to almost start over?
Yeah, you know what? I like to think that the work that Matt put in, both bringing the IronBirds back to life and teaching me the ways of minor league baseball, is paying dividends today. I think that the local Rotary Club and the local chambers of commerce and the local business partners are tired of me repeating Matt's mantra. Matt had a very common phrase that he used all the time, which is that if a minor league baseball team is successful, they're doing 3 things right. The first thing is selling as many tickets to local families as possible for minor league baseball tickets. The number 2 thing is being the best business partner we can be to our sponsors and local businesses around us to stimulate the economy and improve our community. And third, and most importantly, is to be the best civic partner we can be with what is usually, and I think it's true in Aberdeen, the most high-profile local business. You know, if you're a hair salon or an insurance agent or any other kind of local business, you can make an impact. But if you're a minor league baseball team, the audience that you bring to local causes and nonprofits and your business partners is so important. And I've just done my best to try and follow that mantra and make sure that even during times when, we missed an entire year of baseball, we were engaging with local community partners. We were giving donations to the next time we're allowed to have baseball games. We are spreading good news on our social media about nonprofits and, community organizations. And heck, last week we posted that Aberdeen Little League tryouts started. So it's really exciting.
One of the most challenging things to me about what you faced this year, though, Jack, is that all that those 3 entities that Matt Slate has taught you and you've put into effect, those are they have an inertia of the machine constantly churning, the relationship. You're hitting them up for the next season. You're talking about their new signage. You haven't been able to do that for an awfully long time now. How difficult is it? I remember Brooks Robinson, and Ross will remember this. He played third base. He always took a step in, so he would be moving.
Sure.
How have you been able to move when you haven't had anything to move around, so to speak?
It's a great question. And, we've done our best to engage with our partners, whether they're partners who want to activate their partnership during a pandemic or who want to wait until the season starts. The good news is that a lot of our partners have been very patient and very thoughtful and very understanding. The other good news is we've been able to talk to them about how can we activate your partnership? How can we tell your story even when there's no baseball? So, we had a community movie night sponsored by Horizon Cinemas, and the proceeds of that movie night went to the new epicenter in Aberdeen. So we had, a couple of movie nights. We were able to put some things on Facebook or on social media or send out emails to continue to tell our sponsors stories and, do our best. Nothing replaces the excitement of live baseball, but we tried our best to talk to those partners and help them understand where we are and where we're going. And I think that the ownership, the sense of ownership that this community has for this team and has felt that way for a long time now, it was best expressed in how patient people were with us getting through this difficult time, and B, how excited they are now to get ready to get back to normalcy.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Jack, they had the PDC previous with the affiliate, and that could go 2 years, 4 years. I know some maybe up to 10. Now you have the PDL. Now, can you explain that? Because I know with the player development contract, the ball club obviously pays the salaries of the players and what have you, but the affiliate paid a certain amount of different things. Now, how is that different now? What is the player development license? What is that compared to the PDC?
Sure. So, I don't know how much of this is confidential and not. So hopefully Rob Manfred's, not going to yell at me. But realistically, the relationship has not changed from a practical standpoint or from a standpoint that the fans would see. A percentage of ticket sales goes to baseball to defray costs associated with running baseball. And by baseball, I mean with a capital B. And the majority of the operation is still up to the affiliate. We're still going to decide what theme nights we've got. We're still going to decide what our jerseys look like. We're still going to decide, what community organizations to promote. And so the fans will not perceive a whole lot different. I think that the thing that Major League Baseball was most excited about, and that people may still not notice, but that will make a huge impact in these players' lives, is the player health and wellness, making sure that the players have the right facilities when they're on the road and when they're at home and when they're having to just be normal people the 21 hours a day that they're not playing professional baseball. And so, people probably won't notice that we're making upgrades to the clubhouse. People probably won't notice that the buses are that there's going to be 2 buses on the road instead of 1. People won't notice that there's going to be nicer clubhouses and more amenities, and the players are going to get paid more. None of that will be noticeable, but it's things that Major League Baseball really felt were important to improving the game and improving the way that the game was operated. You guys know this, but I played in the minor leagues and I played in Aberdeen. And I love every single member of the New York Penn League as an affiliate, but not all of them have the same facilities as Aberdeen does. And so it's a matter of figuring out which affiliates can offer the best experience for their players to develop and grow into superstars.
Correct.
I just want to jump in front of Ross real quick. One of the main things, as I understood, that was also going to change is sort of the geographic alignment to make it a little easier on players too, to cut down on those 18-hour bus trips.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that a lot of teams in a lot of leagues will notice that. I don't know if the fans got a chance to look at our schedule last week, but we're excited to have released a 60-game schedule, 60 home games and 60 road games. And, the good news is that we get to play against Wilmington and Brooklyn and Hudson Valley and Lakewood, New Jersey, who now call themselves Jersey Shore. And the bad news is we still have to travel 725 miles to Bowling Green, Kentucky. So, I think that a lot of teams will notice that, but ultimately it's still the minor leagues. They're still going to be grinding. They're still going to be learning what it's like to work hard and grow as a player. And, if we can make it a little bit easier for them, great. But some of my best memories are sitting on the bus, hanging out with the guys, just being a minor league grinder.
Absolutely. No, that's true. With the COVID now, the players, especially down here in spring training, and they're not going to start spring. Your A and AA are not going to start until later.
Yeah.
What are some of the so to speak, putting the guys in a bubble, or they can't go out here, they can't do this? What do you have any info on what that's going to be with the IronBirds?
Yeah, I mean, I only know what I've seen from Major League Baseball and from the guidance they've put out on spring training so far. People might be surprised to know that I learned most of my information from JJ Cooper and Twitter. But the realistic situation is that every day things could change. And so all I know is what's most up to date. But yeah, I don't expect that they're going to be signing autographs. I don't expect that they're going to be doing player meet and greets. I don't think I'm going to be able to give tours of the clubhouse. All of the things that sort of are fun behind the scenes things where Ironbirds fans have been able to grow relationships with players who are there. This year is going to be tough for that. The Orioles are we're not expecting to put our players in host families for the first time in our history. So it's going to be different. But I think that people are so excited to return to enjoying live entertainment that even if they have to wear a mask between hot dogs and can't get autographs, we're all pushing in the same direction.
How many fans are they going to allow? How many fans are they going to allow in the ballpark at this particular point in time?
Right. It's a great question. I was having a Zoom conference call with Harford County Health Officer David Bishai just this afternoon. He was kind enough to speak to the Aberdeen Chamber of Commerce, and honestly, we don't know. The answer is that on May 18th, we're going to be living in a very different world than February 22nd. Currently, Leidos Field at Ripken Stadium. I'm wearing my Leidos Field shirt. Leidos Field at Ripken Stadium can hold 250 human occupants. And I stress that it's human occupants because that's players, coaches, hot dog salesmen, Jack Graham, the ticket vendors. Absolutely. So when you add up 28 guys on each roster, plus 7 coaches, plus 2 umpires, plus the grounds crew, the front office staff,
probably,
the press box, the janitors. If I had to play a baseball game tomorrow, it would be the 4 of us staring at each other watching the game. So that's we're hopeful that in 2 months or 3 months, the world will be in a much better place. But realistically, we know that it won't be full. Our number one goal, and I hope that some of them are watching tonight, but my number one goal is to get all of our season seat members in the stadium, because they are the people who have been patient. They left their money with us. They could have put it in a bank and earned interest. They could have bought GameStop and gone to the moon with stock. They could have done anything. And instead, they invested in us, and we're excited to give them whatever version of baseball we can this year.
Jack, one of the questions, we've gone close to 15 minutes, and I got started with my first couple of questions and didn't mention a bit of information that people may or may not know, is that the Aberdeen IronBirds, through their entire history, have been an independent league club and played a half season, are now a full season A-ball affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles. With that, without peeking too far behind the veil, that means there's a huge increase in costs to operate the team, but yet you've got decreased revenues. That's a very tough sort of current to swim in, isn't it?
It's tough. And I think that the fact that Cal and Bill and our team are ready to put in the time and energy and effort and money to get through this year is something we're really proud of. We are, as I've said a number of times through this pandemic, we're a small, locally owned business, family-owned business. The family happens to be the Ripken family, but we're still a family-owned local business. And so you're absolutely right. There are costs associated with this, and we're doing our best to manage those expenses, even though we're going from 38 games in a short season single A team to 60 games this year on our schedule. And we've got to have 2 buses on the road to Bowling Green, and we've got to keep these guys in nice hotels that don't have bed bugs, and we've got to make sure that the grounds crew is out there working on the field. And ultimately, there are costs associated, but we know that this community is going to be so supportive of us. And, who knows, we may sell out every single game because we may only be allowed to have 25% of the fans in the building. Who knows?
Right.
How nimble is the organization? A lot of small businesses that may have been sponsors of yours or have been involved with you on one level or not, they're struggling too.
Yeah.
Is the organization sensitive to the need out in the community? And are there some ways in this pandemic times that you'll be able to give back to the community?
To the best of our ability, we have been very sensitive. We have had partners, and I won't name them because everyone's year has been really tough,
Yeah.
who were not able to leave their money with us. And that's fine because ultimately, like I said, we don't have sponsors, we have partners. And you can use whatever word you want, but realistically, that's the environment that we want to live in. And so, everyone has had a hard year. And we hope that they'll come back that much stronger when it's over. The good news is that we've got opportunities to raise money through our vehicle, which is baseball games, and our public profile for local communities. So, whether it's the IronBirds sponsoring the Hartford Family House Off the Streets fundraiser to raise awareness and funds for homeless families in Hartford County, or how we're selling T-shirts in our team store that have the numbers of deputies Daly and Logsdon who were killed 5 years ago this month in Hartford County to benefit the Hartford County Sheriff's Union Benevolent Fund, or to help bring attention to Aberdeen Little League trying to play a season this year. We've got a voice more than we have anything else because I haven't sold a baseball ticket in 51 weeks. But I have a voice, and we're trying to use it to benefit the community, to benefit our partners and our nonprofits. So I think everyone's ready and excited for more normalcy to happen. And, I hope that we can have enough people in the ballpark to make it worth it, and to, maybe raffle off those military jerseys we do every year, and maybe continue to help people raise money through auctions on the concourse. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Jack, do you guys have with the extra ball games this year, the 60 home games? Obviously, you have giveaways. Are you promoting that now? Because one of the things I've been to a few games up there, and I love the crab night.
Yeah.
So you got to do that.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
now, are you advertising that, or can you advertise it now, but not knowing that anybody can even come in the ballpark?
Right. It's a
at
great
this
question.
time?
Right. It's a great question. And I've had a couple of people call me this week or last week and say, hey, when can I book my group? When can I book my crab
Right.
feast? When can I buy tickets? And I say, if I felt confident selling you something and taking your money, I would do it. I don't feel it's responsible right now, February 22nd, to take your money because I don't know what I can deliver to you.
Right.
We're hopeful that on some nights that, we've got the ballpark open, that we have enough capacity that we can sell some individual game tickets, that we can maybe get a small group in, maybe a local Boy Scout troop. But right now we haven't decided what night Military Appreciation Night is. We haven't decided what nights we're going to shoot fireworks. I mean, we've got the Sunday before Memorial Day, the Saturday and Sunday before Memorial Day, and the Saturday of July 3rd and the Sunday of July 4th as scheduled home games. And I just don't feel confident selling people something that I don't know I can deliver.
Right.
So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that people will go to facebook.com/Aberdeen IronBirds and follow us so that when it comes time to buy tickets and come to fireworks night and hang out at the ballpark and buy those crab feasts, that they'll be ready to do so. But ultimately, we've got a ton of nights. We want to have as many cool theme nights as we can, as we always do, and that people will enjoy them as much as we can in this environment.
Is there any shot that you can have a fireworks night even without people in the stands, or does that make no sense at all to just sort of benefit the community one night?
So last summer, Delegate Mike Griffith of the Maryland State House of Representatives, District 35B, he helped us to coordinate a fireworks show on the 4th of July, which happened to be a Saturday, with some local sponsors, Aberdeen Police, and the IronBirds, and our fireworks partner, Fireworks Extravaganza, to shoot fireworks for, I think it was like 2,500, maybe 3,000 people in the parking lot. Could have been more. Hard to say for sure. Didn't take account. It was free. The sponsors helped us out. And so to the best of our ability, we're going to shoot fireworks if we can. We're going to have people in the ballpark when we can. And, I think that that's the right thing to do, because as much as Cal might not like to hear this year is not about profit. This year is not about going crazy with the profit and loss statement. So we're going to do our best to shoot fireworks when it's appropriate, to have giveaways and theme nights when we can.
Ross, you got a couple more?
Well, yeah, that was one of the things I wanted. The main thing was the giveaway and what have you. The other thing with, with the new setup with minor league baseball, what are your thoughts on that?
I have friends all across America who are in minor league baseball, because minor league baseball is a community. It's a family as much as anything. And so it's hard for me to see friends who had high A clubs, or who had short season A clubs, or who had double A clubs who are not affiliated anymore. So I'm not going to pretend that that's not difficult. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not disappointed, because there's enough baseball to go around. But I'm excited about the opportunity for the IronBirds to go to new communities and play against teams we've never seen before. I'm excited for those teams to come and play against us here in Aberdeen. I'm excited for baseball as a whole to take the next step forward in its evolution. Commissioner Manfred has a vision for baseball, and I think that his vision is that Major League Baseball is going to reach down into these communities where there used to be single A baseball, or there used to be no baseball, and bring these kids up through development leagues, bring them up through the college wood bat leagues, bring them up through the minor leagues. And hopefully we won't have to wait until the next Mike Trout gets to the big leagues to know who he is. Hopefully we can see him when he's 18 years old in the Appalachian League, because that would be freaking cool.
Right. That's my next question. Usually, you don't know who the Orioles are going to send to you, but in some instances you kind of do. Maybe one or two guys. Is there anybody that you can let us know that possibly will be coming to Aberdeen?
Well, it's funny because I was talking to Randy McRoberts, who's with the Hartford Aegis, and we were talking about minor league baseball and sort of the progression of those guys. So 2 years ago, 2019, seems like it was yesterday, but it also seems like it was 1,000 years ago. Right. We had guys who were between the ages of 19 and 22 playing for the IronBirds. So here we are 2 years later, those guys who are between the ages of 21 and 24, they might be ready for high A baseball. So I would not rule out any 2019 IronBird being on the IronBirds this year. There are some guys who maybe need a little bit more development time. Right. And there may be guys, unfortunately, who have passed us. I think that the number one hope that we have is that maybe if for some reason there's a log jam at the catching position, that maybe Adley gets a few at-bats with us at the beginning of the season. But realistically, as the future of the Orioles, he probably won't be. I think that's the guy I get asked about the most.
Right.
But, there's so many guys who are excellent ball players and excellent guys who I hope they come back. I hope that the 2019 IronBirds team comes right back. That would be great.
Yeah.
Jack, you've got a unique situation because, as you mentioned earlier in the program, that you played minor league baseball. So you have a unique vision of this, and a lot of people watching this might not know that your uncle is Brian Graham, who was with the Orioles for about 7 or 8 years, I believe. He's player development. Yeah. Did he draft you as an Oriole?
He did. Nepotism is a beautiful thing, and I'm not going to pretend that it didn't help me. I was talking about this with a college student who was writing a paper about minor league baseball recently, and he asked me about draft day, and he asked me what it was like. And everybody sees the guy sitting on the couch watching TV, waiting for the call from his agent. I watched it on my phone by the pool because nobody was going to call me. My high school travel ball coach called me to congratulate me because he happened to see it on MLB Network first. So he drafted me. I was sent to the Gulf Coast League. I spent 10 weeks in Sarasota, which is an awesome, beautiful town. Anybody who gets a chance to go to spring training and see the Orioles, please go. The summer was great. I went to spring training in 2013. Didn't break camp with an affiliate. Spent another 10 weeks in Sarasota in extended spring training. Then finally got to come to Aberdeen, and I fell in love with Harford County. I fell in love with Ripken Stadium. Got the chance to contribute a little bit, not a whole lot. And then I spent a year in Delmarva as the bullpen catcher, BP thrower, ground ball hitter, bat bag carrier, whatever they needed. They didn't make them up. Yeah, so it was fun. It was a phenomenal career, and the guys who I know, who I graduated college with, who spent 3 years being interns at some big company, I got to spend it riding the bus.
So my question though, when I said you have a unique perspective on this,
Sure.
players coming back after a year of lost time, what is that going to do to the entire industry of baseball? Is it going to set the development back, or do you think there were ways that players, or do you think it'll be maybe like 20% will fall by the wayside, 20% will excel because they really worked hard?
Right.
How do you think that lost development is going to play out?
It's hard. I think one of the reasons that Major League Baseball eliminated a level of minor league baseball with short season A is because there were a lot of guys in minor league baseball, tens of thousands. I mean, realistically, were there too many? Who knows? That's not for me to decide. But I think that there are guys who either will have been in high A or double A, and maybe they were at the end of their career anyway, who are done. There are some of the younger guys who maybe it was too far for them to climb all the way to the big leagues from where they were when the pandemic struck, and they're gone. But ultimately, the reason that guys become minor league baseball players is because they're young, they're hungry, and they're talented. And I think that with only 5 rounds in the draft last year, there's not a whole lot of push from the bottom. There's not a whole lot of those guys to replace the guys who were there.
Mm-hmm.
So for better or for worse, I think that a lot of those guys will have worked really hard in the off season. The ones who weren't able to be at an alternate site in Bowie or Fredericksburg or wherever will come back that much more excited for their next season of baseball. And, they're going to really give the guys who are in AAA and the big leagues a run for their money, because it's pent up at this point.
Different question. Ross, go ahead. You ask a couple and then I'll come back.
Yeah, being you had some minor league time. When you got out, did you envision yourself being a general manager or being in the front office? And is that something now, after being 5+ years and being an assistant, now being a general manager, is this something you want to pursue at a higher level, possibly?
I can honestly say that I did not expect to come back to baseball at all. I left baseball. I joined, I went to Groupon. Everybody's, downloaded the Groupon app once to get a free round of golf or something. But I went to Groupon and I called on local businesses to trying to get them to sign up for Groupon and promote themselves. And after about 9 months of being outside of baseball, I tell this story, and people, I don't know if they really appreciate it, but I found myself having the most vivid baseball dreams, and I couldn't get away from it. My brain was saying, if you're not going to be around baseball during the day, well, screw you. You're going to dream about baseball at night. So I came back to baseball. Mr. Ripken gave me an opportunity to work for his youth baseball tournament company.
Right.
I worked with local youth baseball teams who came to the Ripken Experience, Aberdeen or Myrtle Beach or Pigeon Forge. And when an opportunity with the IronBirds became available, to be honest, it was partially a way to get out of sales. Nobody really loves sales except for a handful of really crazy people, and I think Stan might be one of them. But it was an opportunity to join a professional baseball team in a great community. And a small pay raise didn't hurt. Nobody's getting rich in minor league baseball. But one of the things that I think is interesting is that it opened my eyes to the fact that minor league baseball is so different than Major League Baseball. I love that I don't have to worry about the product on the field. I know it'll be there. I'm much more worried about making sure that the experience that the fans have is excellent and safe and affordable. And, maybe there is an equivalent to that at a higher level of minor league baseball, or maybe, if the Baltimore Orioles ever said, hey, do you want to come run game day experience at the Orioles, or any other major league team. Maybe it's soccer, maybe it's basketball. I have no idea. But right now, my goal is to make the experience at Leidos Field at Ripken Stadium the best one that people can have. And I know that the opportunity that I've been given is partially because I'm a crazy person and I'm overly dedicated and I spend 18 hours a day at the ballpark. And it's partially because I just love the game.
Right.
You got one more, Ross?
No, that answers it right there.
I've got
great.
one more, but first
Cool.
I got to give away a secret. Jack Graham told me that he just joined this
Yeah.
club, and he was one of the guys who saw the Super Bowl commercial for, what was it called? Skull
Shaver. Yeah.
Shaver, and actually bought one.
Yes.
That's great. That's great.
Skull Shaver
But
should buy space on PressBox Online because
they
it's
should they should
not
buy
bad.
yeah, they should buy Aberdeen IronBirds. Maybe we could give them both ads.
Yes.
Give them both ads. My actual question though, Jack, is about, not only does minor league baseball help develop players, it is really the first start off point, the jumping off point for an awful lot of eventual PR directors,
Yeah.
group salespeople in sports and all that. How hard has it been in gearing up for a season that's more active than it was a year ago, but not knowing the amount of people you'd be able to have? How was it gearing up with people in the hopper that are going to work for the Aberdeen IronBirds?
I appreciate you asking because it is something that has been difficult. On the day that I sent my staff home, March 12th, because things started to close and it was scary. It was the beginning. We didn't know what we were getting into. I sent everybody home. We had 15 employees that day. Later in the summer, we had to furlough a number of employees, and it's been very tough. These people are like family. You pull the tarp, you set up the stadium, you spend more time with them than you do with your real family at home. And I'm excited because we've begun bringing those people back last week. A couple of our salespeople are coming back. We actually just promoted Mickey Cortucci, who was a ticket sales representative. She's going to be running our box office now. She's awesome, brilliant, really detail-oriented person. And like you said, minor league baseball grows baseball executives. They grow sports executives.
They grow announcers, they grow sports writers, the whole gamut,
Absolutely. Steve Maluski was a play-by-play broadcaster for the Aberdeen IronBirds, believe it or not. So, we are proud of that. And I think that unlike most other industries where you try to hold on to the people who are best in your organization, I would rather have somebody get some really great experience with the IronBirds, go on and become much more successful in a large organization, because it makes me look good. It makes it easier to hire the next guy.
Are you in need? Do you want to say anything right now to potential interns out there, or are you well stocked right now?
I will never turn down the opportunity for somebody great to learn about IronBirds baseball. For any sports management college students, for any high school students who think they might want to work in sports, for anybody who maybe got laid off during the pandemic, the IronBirds post their jobs on teamworkonline.com. Please go on there. Look at what the IronBirds have. Look at what other teams have. Don't be afraid to leave your bubble. Don't be afraid to leave your comfort zone. I'm a kid who grew up in Connecticut, went to college in Ohio, and then ended up in Maryland by accident. I love it here. So college interns, keep an eye out for an internship posting. Play-by-play broadcasters, keep an eye out for a role for this summer. Keep an eye out for a ticket sales account executive. If you can sell snow to an Eskimo, you can sell baseball tickets in Aberdeen. So you're going to be good.
Sir.
Jack Graham, the general manager of the Aberdeen IronBirds, we greatly appreciate your time. And as we get closer to the season, maybe we'll grab you again and start to be able to promote actively when people can go out to games. Jack, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Really appreciate it. Ross, next week we'll be back on Monday night next week at 8:00.
Yep.
We're not sure yet who our guest will be, but I will tell you that this Thursday night, Gary Stein and I will have two former baseball executives, Marty Conway and Andy Dolich. Marty Conway now a sports business teacher at Georgetown University, and Andy Dolich now a sports business teacher at Stanford out in California. We'll talk about the business sports coming up in the next couple weeks, Keith Mills is going to be with us a week from Wednesday. And then a week past that, Ed Hale, the owner of the Baltimore Blast, will join us on this show as well. But you and I are working feverishly to get somebody for next week.
We got a couple guys in the hopper.
All right,
We'll have.
Mr. Hal hasn't called me back yet.
Okay, all right, all
I'll
right.
keep you posted. Stay safe down there. You're still in Sarasota?
Yes, we are.
All right. Weather okay?
It's wonderful. It's getting better every day.
All right.
Beautiful day today.
Love to hear that. All right.
All right, buddy.
We'll remind you that Press Box Live is brought to you by C3 American Exteriors. That's right. Go to their website at c3america.com to get a brand new roof for just the cost of your insurance deductible. Go to c3america.com now to get a free roof inspection. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us. Again, Gary Stein and I this week will be on Thursday night. Good night, everybody. It's been a pleasure.